brings me great pleasure to be on your show tonight, Joe Rogan. Yeah, I mean, you call me here to talk about fake news, and I mean, what a pleasure. I mean, I've been studying it for the past few weeks, and I really have a deep understanding for the topic, and I can't wait to share this information with your viewers. As you know, it's probably the most dangerous threat to society at the moment, so it's something that we have to actually understand and not neglect. I thought I might as well show you guys a presentation to illustrate it better, which is a bit unique because normally on your guys' show we just talk. So yeah, I'd love to show you guys visuals just to get a better understanding for the whole fake news concept. How do I believe if it's true or if it's false? In this digital thriving age, we don't actually know the difference, and it's hard to know what is actual facts and what is fake news. But the real question is, what is fake news? How do you define it? Well, the real definition is straight up the distortion of the truth presented as legitimate information. But there are three off branches that I want to discuss in today's video. The first is disinformation. This is deliberate false information that has the intention to create havoc and deceive its audience. The next one is malinformation. This is true information, but it's selectively shared with the aim to manipulate and harm, and often the truth is taken out of context. The third one I want to talk about today is misinformation. This is misleading information that isn't necessarily created with the intent to harm. This is what I want to discuss. The other two are very harmful to society, but this one is normally very less significant when it comes to fake news and threatening society. Before I dive deep into the other three types of fake news, I just wanted to talk about social media and its impact. Well, the truth is, social media, even though we love it, it's actually our biggest enemy when it comes to fake news. As living in this digital age, you have people being able to spread this type of information from vast areas at a rapid speed. I'll just give you the demographics of the increase of people using social media. So as you can see, there's from 2016 to 2021, it's basically going up in 10 to 15% each year of people using social media as their predominant information source. So it's now 2023, and that definitely has increased drastically. So problem with social media is that anyone can actually post pretty much anything without sincere consequences. I mean, you might get banned from a software for a few days or something, but I mean, that's nothing for criminal offense. That's what I believe fake news is. With echo chambers, you have people that respond to a certain niche. So you have, with all the bots, they're sending through the information that they know you believe. And that's how people get hooked. That's how you believe certain things. Just the constant repetition of information just getting sprung out at you. I mean, everyone spends a lot of time on their phones in one day. So the information you're constantly seeing slowly start to believe, but it's fake. That's when you have to understand. I think you just have to have a better mindset on the topic and understand whether things are credible or not, and maybe not take things so deeply to heart.
Emotional, damn it!
So in 2021, I posted this TikTok, which got 12 million views, as you can see, but it went viral within days. I think the reason was because it resonated with everyone that was seeing it, because they all had family members, or most people have family members. So I'm not saying that this had a bad intention, I'm not saying it's fake news, but I'm just using it as an example, and if that was to be fake news, how it would have spread and affected 12 million people, essentially.
Okay.
So talking about disinformation, obviously it's one of the more harmful fake news types. its purpose is to influence the government's political manipulation. It promotes different ideologies, influences public opinion. Again, it's trying to promote and confuse. And also, polarization is a big factor which is unique to disinformation. This is using racial tensions and inner tensions and basically trying to make them turn on each other. Different techniques which illustrate these points are sensationalism, so these big clickbait headlines that you see, the emotional manipulation, often using sympathy, sometimes provoking anger. Often when people see a visual and it strikes their emotions, they think irrationally and they just quickly hop onto it and spread it, and they don't even consider it because they're just acting off emotions. Then there's confirmation bias. Again, a lot of these points go hand in hand in all three types. But these are the main ones for disinformation. Confirmation bias, as I was saying, this is when someone has a set belief and set norm, and information confirms that and agrees with their philosophy, if that makes sense. Then cult of personality, this is using someone with authority to spread fake news, because people are more likely and more inclined to believe someone who has authority and has a big impact on society. They believe that type of news.
Nice.
So I just wanted to show you guys a realistic source which you may come across. So this is InfoWars. This is a website which claims to produce really good news. It was created by Alex Jones, who has a lot of followers, a great immense of followers. So again, this is using a cult of personality and someone of authority. This website is basically, it's for someone that's looking for a different reality, if that makes sense. They don't agree. The person wouldn't agree with the government. They're looking for conspiracy theories and an alternative way of thinking. So people will actually like this, but the problem is a lot of people will believe some of this, some of the information given here to be true. So the main objective for InfoWars is to actually, over here, if you can look on the bottom right, they're trying to promote and create revenue, financial support. That's their main goal. Also to please parties. I wouldn't say they're completely trying to cause havoc, but to a certain extent they are causing. The government and a lot of institutions have sued this company for many reasons. They just promote completely ludicrous information, which certain people that are just seeing this don't agree with. But so for me, I'd use myself as a confirmation bias. Over here, Christian preacher in handcuffs. That immediately grabs my attention personally, because I'm a Christian. I see a Christian now getting locked up. That immediately, that's confirmation bias. I see LGBTQ march, this guy obviously preaching against this, and now he's getting locked up. So I don't know if this is true. You can see it could have been potentially edited. Who knows? This guy probably isn't even a Christian, or maybe he is. But the fact is, it's hard to say what is true and what is not.
Approved.
So remember, malinformation is the type of news that is true, but it deliberately is spread and selectively chosen to bring downfall to society. Its purpose, again, political manipulation. All of these link hand in hand. They're trying to promote different ideologies. So I'll show you an example in a few. But again, it influences public opinion. It sparks tension, unnecessary tension. And a lot of the time, like for petty stuff, this can be personal vendettas. Let's say I didn't like a certain person. I'm going to think of every single bad thing. That probably is true, but I don't say the good things. I only spread bad rumors. Not that I would. Then the techniques, inflammatory narratives, and again propaganda, which it's a big point, big factor, which I will talk about later. Repetition, constantly seeing the same things, the same news that is true. It's normally the negative true, that's malinformation. And then again, authority, someone of authority being spread around, or someone spreading information with authority.
I said what I said, and always. I'm not changing on it, okay?
In 2016, when the United States presidential elections took place, the Russians, with Putin leading it, created a malinformation campaign, which is basically a propaganda campaign undermining the democratic process by selecting specific infographics and bad results from the US, capitalism state. This was reputational damage, and it sought to set confusion and tension in the United States during the time. Inflammatory narratives is a sensationalized method in which exaggerated information is spread, and especially repeated facts. This campaign created public opinion, as now voters were questioning whether to vote for democracy. So misinformation isn't really one of those dangerous fake news sources. It's more the secretive accidental spreading of news. It doesn't really have the intention to harm. So again, innocent mistakes, okay, maybe gossip or rumors, but a lot of the time there's actually satire, and a lot of irony. It can be used in a funny, joking manner, but sometimes there are a lot of unverified claims. So these are just people blurting what they think of facts, but it's not necessarily fact-checked or credible.
Right. It's facts! It's facts! It's not facts. These sites are not facts. It's not facts.
So an example of misinformation would be the misrepresentation of history in the Netflix show Vikings. So the show is amazing. It has the purpose of creating a cinematic masterpiece, actually. It entertains the audience, creates revenue, which again, a lot of these fake news they aim at doing that. You get a visual idea of what the Vikings would have been like, but it's not actually factually correct, even though a lot of the elements are real and true. They actually depicted the Vikings to be a lot different to how they actually were. I did a long investigation on the history of the Vikings, and a lot of this was exaggerated, but it's not harmful at the end of the day, which is why I wouldn't consider it as being dangerous fake news, or fake news to a certain extent.
Knock need fool. Stay. We need you just as much as our father needed you, but instead you choose to run away, you can't.
So propaganda has been used as like a strategy to almost force people into doing certain things or believing certain ideologies for over 100 years, especially during the First and Second World War. It was evident when soldiers they had the bandwagon effect, basically saying that, everyone believes in this, so we basically have to do it. So soldiers were drafted because everyone was getting drafted. That was the whole propaganda thing. The use of symbols, for example, the Nazi sign in Germany held a lot of authority, so people believed that it was credible. Testimonials, people using first-hand experiences, and obviously raving about the wars, for example. I'm just using war, for example. And then the nature, it's very one-sided. They only praise the one way. So, for example, again, with the war, they would have the common enemy, they play on the emotional appeal, repetition, people would be seeing it everywhere in the streets, everywhere in the newspaper, and again, demonization, creating a common enemy, basically.
Where it shows local news people all saying like the exact same thing. Yeah, that's it.
To serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
we are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
We are concerned about trouble and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country. Plaguing our country.
the sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
the sharing of biased and false
News has become all too common on social media. This is fucking scary.
Yeah.
This is the scariest.
Well, that's propaganda.